This one is our third video for the chapter 1 of class 12, that is reproduction in organisms. So in the previous videos we have already discussed about the definition, introductory part, as well as the types of asexual reproduction. And in the last video we were discussing about the asexual reproduction in plants, and we have already completed the process of apomixis, and now in this video we are going to discuss about the vegetative propagation in the plants. So here we will go. Vegetative propagation is basically the process by which new plants develops through the vegetative parts of the plants, either naturally or artificially. So first of all, we have to know what are the vegetative parts. So the parts of the plants are divided into two categories. First one is called vegetative parts, that means the body parts actually, like a stem, roots and leaves. And second one is called reproductive parts. Basically, reproductive parts are flowers. So here, if a new plant can be developed through the vegetative parts, that means from stems, roots or leaves, then that type of process is called as vegetative propagation. And here two words are added. First one is either naturally or artificially. That means this process takes place naturally also, as well as it can be done artificially also. So we will discuss natural processes also as well as the artificial processes also. So first of all, we will discuss about the natural process of vegetative propagation. First heading is through stems, second one through roots, and the last one is through leaves. So first of all, we will discuss about the vegetative propagation through stems. So here, some of the stems I have mentioned, like runners, offsets, suckers, and stolons. These all are also called as subaerial stems. Subaerial stems, that means some part of the stem that is found inside the soil, that means buried inside the soil, as well as some parts also in the outside of the cell, that means inside in the air. So first is runners. So basically, what are these stems? So runners are actually the horizontal stems which runs parallel over the ground. We can see here with the help of this picture. For example, that is given, that is a runner of a strawberry. So here the stem that runs parallelly over the surface of soil and having various nodes. Whenever these nodes touches the ground or soil, they grow some of the roots, and these roots are capable for the formation of a new vegetative parts. That means now this part can lead independently and can be called as a new plants. Next type of subaerial stem which helps in reproduction is offsets. These offsets are also a type of runners, but basically these are found in aquatic plants. So aquatic plants, because they are having the ability to float over the water, that is why all the tissues are made up of parenchyma. So because of the presence of those parenchyma, these are a swollen in structure and floats over the water. One common example for that offset is Eichhornia, which is also known as water hyacinth. Another example is water lettuce also. You can see that water hyacinth in the given diagram. See, you can see this connection in between the two plants, that is the offset. And one specialty about this offset is it having only one internodal length, and it degenerates very quickly. That is why the rate of growth of Eichhornia that is very high. And because of this property, this Eichhornia plant is also called as terror of Bengal. So that is the offset of water hyacinth. Third type of subaerial stem you can see here as the suckers. These suckers are also a type of horizontal stems which runs parallel but form a loop just under the soil. For example, chrysanthemum. And inside the soil also they are having some nodes, and those nodes helps in formation of new plants. So you can see here one sucker which arises from the basal part of the stem, and that arises whenever it comes outside the soil, it forms a new plant, and we can say it is also a type of underground branch of the plant, parent plant. So example is chrysanthemum. Last type of subaerial stem is stolons. Stolons are also a type of horizontal stems which forms a loop because these are very weak cylindrical structure having nodes also, but they form the loop just above the ground, and whenever these loops touches the ground it forms adventitious roots which can form a new plants over the surface of soil. Common example is blackberry. You can see here in the diagram, it is a stolon of blackberry. You can see it forms a loop over the surface of soil, and whenever these loops touches the ground it forms adventitious roots, and if we detaches this plant from this side it can grow as a new plant. So that is the example of a stolon which is found in blackberry. Like those type of subaerial stems, some of the underground stems also have the capacity to form a new plants. Some of underground stems are like bulb, corms, tubers, and rhizomes. These all are underground stems which have the capacity to form a new plants. Bulb. Bulb is a type of underground stem in which stem is highly reduced. You can see in this picture, this one is the reduced stem which is covered by some concentric rings of fleshy leaves. These fleshy leaves, the terminal portion of these fleshy leaves forms the flowering shoots, and these axillary leaves will form a new plant in the future. So onion, that is the example of bulb. Like that, garlic also is the example of bulb. Next one is the corm of crocus. Crocus or calocasia. These corms are just like the bulbs, but here the stem itself swells and forms the underground stem. And this stem that is covered with some scaly leaves, and under the scaly leaves some lateral buds develops which can grow a new plant. Here also the terminal bud will form the flowering shoot, and the lateral bud will give rise to a new plant. Next one is tuber. Common example is potato, which is a kind of underground stem. Here, each of the underground stem having some scars over its body, and these are scars having some meristematic tissues which can form a new plant very easily. So in time, these buds will develop the root system as well as the shoot system just to grow a new plant. So these are also called the eyes of the potato. One potato can form various potato plants. Like that, the fourth one, that is the rhizome of ginger. Here ginger as well as banana, these all are the examples of rhizome, where the stem also run horizontally just inside the soil, and the terminal plant grow to form the shoot system, and the lateral buds will form adventitious roots which will form new rhizome of the plant, as well as these rhizomes helps in the formation of new plants. So these are some of the types of underground stems. So like the stems, some of the roots also having the property to form the new plants, like some of the woody roots, example the Albergia sisho, some of the swollen tap roots like carrot and turnip, some of the swollen tuberous roots like sweet potato and dahlia having some adventitious root system which can grow a new plant. Just like the roots, some of the leaves also having the capacity to grow a new plants like bryophyllum, which we have studied in the junior class. That means in such plants, the leaf notches having some of the buds which will lead to a new plant whenever it comes in contact with the soil. So bryophyllum, begonia, and one interesting example here is walking fern. What is that much interesting part in this portion? That is walking fern. In walking fern, what happens, the terminal tip of the leaf when touches the ground, it can form a new plant. So these are the methods of natural mode of vegetative propagation in plants through the help of stems, through the help of roots, and through the help of leaves. Now we'll see very shortly some of the artificial methods of vegetative propagation, which is very much useful in the agricultural field. So first is the cutting, in which a small cut is used to propagate a new plant, like a small cut of the root, for example in lemon and tamarind, a small cut of a stem, for example rose and sugarcane, and a small cut of leaf, for example in rubber plant. That small cut is taken and buried inside the soil just to grow a new plant. That means these cuts are useful for the propagation of new plants. That is why that method is called as cutting. Next one is called grafting. Grafting is the technique in which two plants are grafted just to behave as the one common plant. This process is done where there is a very poor root system in one of the plant, and when root cannot be grow very nicely. In that problem, this grafting technique is done in which two plants are grafted, and one point taken into mind that the cambium of both the plants that should be in the close contact with each other. Then grafting will be useful. Next one is cloning or tissue culture. Cloning, as we have discussed in the previous lectures also, that in cloning, all the clones are just morphologically and genetically similar to its parent plant. That is why it is called cloning. So how clones are developed? So these clones are developed with the help of a very advanced technique of biotechnology, which is called tissue culture. So why it is called tissue culture? Because a small part of tissue is taken and it is poured inside the culture medium. This culture medium is actually the mixture of some phytohormones which helps in the formation of root system and shoot system. So that is why it is called tissue culture, in which small tissue is taken and that small tissue is taken into some of the phytohormones until there is growth of root system and shoot system. So that is called tissue culture. Next type of artificial method is layering. Layering is the method in which roots are induced to grow before the stem is cut to form a new plant. So it could be done by two methods. First one is called soil layering or mound layering, and second one is called air layering. In soil layering, the soft flexible part of the stem that is taken and buried inside the soil until the root grows. So when root growth completes, then that plant is cut from the parent plant just to lead an independent life. So this process is done when the stem is in contact with the soil. Second process, air layering. Air layering is particularly done when a branch of the plant cannot be bent towards the soil. Then air layering is done. It is also called woody formation, in which the bark area where the bark region is cut and separated, so that particular area that is covered with some moist soil just for the growth of roots, and it is tightly packed with the polythene sheet. After some times root growth takes place, and after that plant is detached from the parent plant, can be shifted to the another part of the soil. So that is how air layering is done. So in this video, we have completed the natural methods of vegetative reproduction as well as the artificial methods of vegetative reproduction. So in next section or in the next video, we will see sexual reproduction. Thank you.